I'm talking to my aunt, Elizabeth Manson, who lived in the Motupiko area of Nelson when the railway was running. Can you tell me a bit about it and where it ran to and so forth?
It ran from Kohatu, which was the nearest point of entry to the railway as it existed then, and went right through to Nelson. It went under a big hill called Spooner's Range in a tunnel, and my parents bought a country store at Motupiko, so my father had to go into Nelson to get supplies for the store, sometimes on the train. We did have a car, but it was during the war years and petrol was scarce, so it was not very easy to get more petrol than you were assigned.
Now, how did you say that? Where did you say the railway ran to?
It ran from Kohatu right through to Nelson.
Okay. What about Glenhope? Didn't it run to Glenhope?
Well, Glenhope was one of the stations on the way into Nelson. No, I beg your pardon. You have to stop. You have to stop it again. That's a mistake. It was meant to go to Glenhope, but I think that it wasn't. They weren't able to get through to there. That was definitely a railway station there, and the lines were to be put down, and there was all the concrete.
Abutments and so forth.
Yes, for the bridges, but for some reason it was stopped. Whether it was because of the depression.
Or was that to Kawatiri, further on from Glenhope, or it was supposed to go through to Murchison, I think.
It was eventually, but of course it was stopped at Glenhope. That's where things were stopped. But I don't think the train went. I don't know how it could have gone through there, to tell you the truth, because there was no railway after Kohatu. But I think you'll have to look that up.
Oh, okay. And were you living there when the railway closed?
No. I would have left Nelson by then.
What and you caught the train. You caught the train occasionally.
At Kohatu, yes, I went in with my mother and probably my father, and it took a long time. Seemed to take forever, but then little children are like that. They think that they want to be there quickly.
And the family store at Motupiko, do you remember where that was at all?
Do I remember where the store was?
Yes, at Motupiko.
Oh yes, of course I do. Oh yes, I remember the store vividly because I was about 8 years old when we left there, and I have very strong memories of the shop there, but the railway ceased passenger trains quite a long time before that. I think it just had freight.
I see.
It probably wasn't economic, I don't know.
No, and did they, what was I going to say, how close to the store did the railway run?
Oh, not very close at all. We would have had to have gone down, my father would have had to take the car down and leave it at the railway station, or he had a van where he made deliveries from the shop in his van, so that would have gone down to the railway station.
Oh, okay.
And there were two families living permanently at the railway station, and they would be there just to keep things.
And were they sort of like they had the live in railway houses and so forth?
Yes.
Okay, I was thinking, it's a long time since I've been through Motupiko, but I was thinking of like the railway sort of ran next to the main street or something like that.
No, it was much more country area than that. It was very isolated and very poor farming area, and most people had horses and carts. I know that would be because of the Second World War too and the lack of petrol. So, and also not many people could afford a car.
No. And so you went for one or two rides on the train?
Yes, I did. And had to be careful not to put my head out the window because you've got soot in your eyes. Cinders.
Well, what were you saying before about the guard changing something or?
Yes, well before we went through the tunnel, in the tunnel through Spooner's Range, of course there had to be light in the carriages, so the guard would come through and there were these glass lampshades up in the ceiling. He undid one and he lit candles, and I thought that was really exciting.
Oh, okay, yeah, of course. Well, it was exciting, especially for a young girl.
And the seats, I can remember the seats were all red leather and there was brass on the windowsills. The brass was bright catches on the windows. They're pretty hard to get the windows open, even harder to shut them.
Ah,
So everybody used to get ash and smoke and horrible bits in their eyes.
really?
That's really all I can remember about the railway in that area.